There was a lot of talk and excitement before Rosh Hashanah, leading up to Rosh Hashanah, about Shmitah. With the coming of Rosh Hashanah began the Shmitah year in Eretz Yisrael, with the biggest implications for those privileged to be there in terms of working the land and eventually in terms of the crops that are growing. But there's a mention of Shmitah in our Parshas, Vayeilech as well. Vayitzav Moshe Som Lemor, Moshe commands him, saying, Miketz Sheva Shanim, at the end of 7 years, B'moed Shnas HaShmitah B'Chag HaSukkos, at the time of the year of Shmitah, on the Yom Tov of Sukkos, B'vochol Yisrael, Me'arozes Me'Hashem Elokecha B'Makom Asher Yivchar, when everybody comes for Aliyah L'Regel, for the Yom Tov of Sukkos, to the Beis HaMikdash, Tikras HaTorah Zos, Neged Kol Yisrael Ba'oznehem. We're going to read the Torah for everybody. The mitzvah of Hakel. Men, women, children will be able to experience the Torah being read together. Rashi explains that the year that we are talking about in this pasuk is the Sukkos following Shmitah, the first of the new Shmitah cycle. What will be next year, the time of Sukkos? And the question is, what's the connection? Why is it that there is some sort of connection between the mitzvah of Hakel, of this communal reacceptance of the Torah, of being read with everybody needing to be there, apparently impacting the men, the women, and children, bringing everybody along, bringing schar to those who bring them along, as the Gemara explains. What does that have to do with Shmitah? So it's a beautiful insight from Rav Druk. And he suggests that maybe the idea is that during the year of Shmitah, the farmers are not able to work the land. So what are they doing? They're able to focus, instead of on the physical land, on the Gashmius, they're able to focus on their Ruchnius. They're able to focus on spiritual matters, able to learn more, able to do more in terms of focusing on their service of Hashem. And now they're going to be going back to the fields. And at that moment when they're going back to the fields, the Torah is saying, you need to give them a little bit of a pep talk. You need to explain to them, you need to remind them that even though you're going out, you could take the Torah with you. Because that's really the essence of what our Torah is about. Torah and mitzvahs are not meant to exist just in a vacuum. You don't have to separate completely from this world, from engaging in the world, in order to have an experience of limud HaTorah, of closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The greatness of Torah is to be able to learn it, connect to it, and then bring it out and infuse everything that we're doing in life with Kedusha. And on a smaller level, the same concept exists every year when we go through this period of the Yomim Noraim. That we go through a period where we can infuse ourselves, when we can be steeped in Kedusha, we can be involved in more tefillah and slichos, extra chumros, for the Aseres Meitshuva, culminating Yom Kippurim. But after that comes Sukkos, and after that we're going to go back to the regular life that we live. But it should never be the same as beforehand. It's that same concept of trying to figure out how to take the inspiration, to take a beautiful, beautiful Rosh Hashanah, and take that with us into everything that we're doing, to infuse the mundane with Kedusha. And that's ultimately a major theme of what the Yomim Noraim are about. Yes, it's about tshuva and it's about judgment, but part of that tshuva process is to figure out how I can take the Yomim Noraim with me. How the cheshvan that follows, that's not as exciting. Just the regular life of a Jew, how that can be infused with Kedusha also. And if we keep that in mind as we go through the coming days of the Yomim Noraim, as we go through Aseres Meitshuva, Yom Kippurim, and ultimately with Sukkos, then we'll really have made a difference in what we experienced. That it will not just be that the Yomim Tovim went through us and they passed over us, but they became part of who we are and allowed us to greater appreciate the connection that we can bring and the uplifting we can bring to the everyday activities that we do in service HaKadosh Baruch Hu in all aspects of our lives.